right, so here we go with KitE. So this one's a little bit more elaborate than some of the others. And there's a good video from Biorad to help you get through it. Biorad is, of course, the company that makes this equipment. And so I'm just sort of going to walk you through a couple of hints that are going to make this lab easier. First of all, I only have enough precast gels so each of you can have one. So I can't use one as a demonstration lab today. So I'm going to use a piece of glass to stand in for my gel. But you notice the gels have this little green thing at the top. That's called a comb. It looks a little like a comb. And when you pull this out, where the tines of the comb are, will be little wells in the gel. And that's where you're going to be putting your sample. You should notice that one side of this gel is higher than the other side. So I will be repeatedly referring to the short side of the gel and the tall side of the gel. And so will the Biorad video that I'm going to point you to online. Also, notice there's a piece of green tape across the bottom of this gel. When you're putting your own gel in, don't forget to remove the tape. You would be surprised how often I have seen students try to do electrophoresis without having removed that piece of tape. I know exactly what it looks like, so I can stop you if we're in the lab, but we're not in the lab, so you're gonna have to stop yourself. Don't forget the green tape. If it's green on this thing, take it off before you use it. All right, so here's your gel, and I'm gonna set this one aside because one of you guys is will use that one. And I am just going to pretend that this nice piece of glass is my gel. So this thing here is called the cassette, and it's got a little green rubber gasket on each side, wings that fold down and fold up, and here's how you load it. You need two things. You need your gel, this is my pretend gel, and you need another piece of glass or plastic, and they make these pieces of plastic called buffer dams, and it says buffer dam right across this, and it also says this side towards the gasket. So if you can read that, that's the side that's supposed to be against that green rubber gasket. So setting this up, you fold down the wings, you take your buffer dam and you put it on the opposite side, you set it in the bottom, nice and tight, and you put it so that you can read it by looking through at it. Yep, I can read it. It's set down tight against these stops at the bottom. Then I take my gel, and I want the short side towards the gasket, towards the interior. And the tall side is going to be towards me on the outside here. So I put this down, make sure it's all the way down against the bottom here, not sitting up on top, but down against the bottom. Get both of them down, and then fold up the wings. Now, if you did this right, the wings hold your gel and the buffer dam tight against that rubber gasket, and this thing will hold water. So I would suggest testing that. You can just walk into the bathroom like this, pour in a little water and see if it leaks, but I'm just gonna use a water glass here. I just poured a little down the outside, but except for the amount I just poured down the outside, it's not leaking. So I did a good job. See, it's holding water, it's not dripping out the bottom. So, yay, I did it right. The next thing is you want to look at colors. Notice there's red on one side and black on the other side. The box has a red stripe on one side and a black stripe on the other side. And the lid has a red wire on one side and a black wire on the other side. This is really difficult. I mean, this is stuff a business major can figure out. Red goes with red, goes with red. Black goes with black, goes with black. Got it? All right. This box is big enough to fit 4 gels, 2 cassettes, but you're only using 1 cassette, so you have to make sure you get it in the right place. So I would suggest dry fitting everything together first to make sure you lined it up right, and I didn't. So we got to put this on that side. Black, black, and then the black plug will go there. These little wings poke up through the lid to hold it in the right place. So now it is properly assembled, and I'm ready to use my gel. So that's step one. Step two, pull that lid back off, is you have to load your buffer. So I've got two little things of buffer for you in here. Buffer, buffer. That one's water, and I'll use that later. These only hold 50, and I need 55, so that's why you have two tubes. You also have a bottle with 550 mils marked. That's how much you're going to need. So the first thing you do is you empty both of these buffer tubes into this container. And then it would be better to add distilled water, but we're going to use just tap water today, and fill it up with tap water to the line. Then I'll be back in a second with my buffer.